The year is 73 AD. Dawn breaks over the sprawling gladiator school of Capua, just south of Rome. In the dim light filtering through barred windows, 200 of the Empire's most deadly fighters begin their day not with weapons training, but with something far more surprising. A bowl of what Romans mockingly called gladiator gruel. Marcus Brutus, not the senator, but a Thracian fighter whose real name was lost to history, sits cross-legged on the cold stone floor of his cell. Before him lies a wooden bowl filled with a thick grey porridge that would make even the poorest Roman citizen wrinkle their nose in disgust. Yet this unappetizing mixture holds secrets that modern science has only recently begun to understand. And if you're fascinated by how ancient warriors lived and died, you'll want to hear every word of this incredible story. The primary ingredient shocking researchers today: barley. Not the wheat that fed Rome's citizens, but humble barley, the same grain used to feed horses and considered punishment food for Roman soldiers. Archaeological evidence from gladiator cemeteries in Ephesus, Turkey, revealed through bone analysis that these elite fighters consumed a diet consisting of 75% barley and legumes. But why would the most valuable athletes of the ancient world be fed what was essentially animal feed? Dr. Karl Groschmidt, who led the groundbreaking bone analysis studies, discovered something remarkable in the calcium signatures of gladiator remains. These warriors had calcium levels significantly higher than average Romans, leading to bones that were incredibly dense and resistant to fractures. The secret lay not just in the barley, but in a specific plant that gladiators consumed religiously: ashes from burned stinging nettle. Picture Marcus finishing his morning gruel, the bitter taste of nettle ash still coating his tongue. Around him, fellow gladiators from across the empire, Gauls, Germans, Africans and Syrians, all consume the same carefully calculated meal. The lanista, their trainer and owner, watches from the doorway. He knows what the crowd doesn't: that 80% of a gladiator's success in the arena depends not on his sword arm, but on what he puts in his stomach. The gladiator schools weren't just training grounds for combat. They were sophisticated nutritional laboratories where human lives depended on getting the diet exactly right. Every grain of barley, every spoonful of bean paste, every pinch of ash was measured and monitored. These men weren't just fighters, they were million-dollar investments walking on two legs, and their owners treated their nutrition with the same precision that modern Formula One teams manage their drivers' diets. But the most shocking discovery was yet to come. As Marcus and his fellow fighters prepared for their morning training, none of them knew that their breakfast contained a secret ingredient that would give them an almost supernatural advantage in combat. One that would make the difference between walking out of the arena alive or being dragged out by the ankles. The midday sun beats mercilessly on the training yard as Marcus practices his sword work against a wooden post wrapped in straw. Sweat pours down his muscled back, leaving dark stains on the sand beneath his feet. In just 3 hours, he will fight for his life in front of 50,000 screaming Romans. But first, he must consume the most crucial meal of his career, the pre-combat feast that separates the living from the dead. Modern nutritionists analyzing gladiator diets have uncovered something that challenges everything we thought we knew about ancient nutrition. These warriors weren't eating for pleasure or even basic sustenance. They were biochemically engineering their bodies for maximum survivability in mortal combat. The second component of their shocking diet was beans, specifically fava beans, lentils, and chickpeas, but not just any preparation. Archaeological evidence from Pompeii's gladiator barracks reveals massive grinding stones used to create a protein-rich paste that gladiators consumed in enormous quantities. Dr. Andrew Curry's research shows that this legume paste provided slow-burning energy that could sustain a fighter through prolonged combat while maintaining steady blood sugar levels. But here's where the story takes a disturbing turn. Historical accounts from Pliny the Elder describe gladiators drinking a beverage that modern audiences would find revolting: a mixture of vinegar, water, and something else. The blood of fallen gladiators mixed with bone ash. This wasn't superstition or ritual, it was calculated nutrition. The iron content from blood provided immediate energy, while the calcium from bone ash strengthened their skeletal system for impact resistance. Marcus receives his pre-combat meal from the school's cook, a former gladiator himself who lost his left arm to a retiarius net 3 years prior. The meal consists of barley porridge mixed with bean paste, a cup of the infamous blood drink, and something that would shock even hardened Romans: raw eggs mixed with olive oil and honey. This combination, we now know, provided the perfect balance of quick energy, sustained fuel, and muscle-building protein. The gladiator schools employed a sophisticated understanding of what we now call performance nutrition. They knew that fighters who ate wheat-based diets tired quickly and suffered more injuries. Those who consumed their barley and bean regimen could fight longer, take more hits, and recover faster between bouts. The calcium from nettle ash and bone meal made their bones so dense that some gladiator skeletons found by archaeologists were initially mistaken for much older individuals due to their unusual bone density. As Marcus finishes his meal, he performs a ritual that every gladiator understood. He saves a small portion of his food to offer to the gods, not out of piety, but out of practical fear. Because gladiators knew something that the cheering crowds didn't. Their diet gave them superhuman endurance, but it came with a terrible price that could kill them even if they won every fight. The afternoon shadows grow longer as Marcus makes his way to the armory. In his stomach, the carefully calculated meal begins its work, flooding his bloodstream with precisely the nutrients his body needs for the trial ahead. If you think what you've heard so far is shocking, wait until you discover what this diet did to their bodies over time, and why many gladiators feared their own success more than death itself. The roar of the Colosseum crowd echoes through the underground chambers as Marcus adjusts his bronze helmet one final time. Above him, 50,000 Romans thirst for blood and spectacle, but beneath the arena, in the dim torchlight of the gladiator holding area, a different kind of drama unfolds, one that reveals the ultimate price of the gladiator diet that kept these warriors alive. Modern forensic analysis of gladiator remains has uncovered a shocking truth that ancient Romans never understood. The very diet that made these fighters nearly invincible in short-term combat was slowly killing them through chronic malnutrition. Dr. Fabian Kanz's groundbreaking study of gladiator bones revealed that while their calcium levels were extraordinarily high, they suffered from severe deficiencies in other crucial nutrients. The high barley, low-meat diet that gave gladiators their legendary endurance came with devastating long-term consequences. Bone analysis shows evidence of scurvy from vitamin C deficiency, dental problems from the acidic vinegar drinks, and signs of protein deficiency despite their legume-heavy meals. The gladiators were caught in a nutritional paradox. The diet that kept them alive in the arena was slowly weakening their immune systems and internal organs. Marcus feels the familiar surge of energy from his pre-combat meal as he steps into the blazing Roman sunlight. The crowd's deafening cheers wash over him like a physical force. Across the sand, his opponent, a veteran Mirmillo from Gaul, raises his sword in salute. Both men know that their breakfast of barley gruel and blood drink has given them the strength to fight for hours if necessary, but both also carry the hidden scars of their unusual diet. Historical records from gladiator physicians describe symptoms that we now recognize as chronic nutritional deficiencies. Many successful gladiators, despite winning dozens of fights, died young from mysterious illnesses that modern science can trace directly to their specialized diet. The irony was brutal. The food that made them champions was the same food that prevented them from living long enough to enjoy their freedom. The fight begins with a clash of bronze on bronze. Marcus's enhanced bone density, built through years of nettle ash consumption, allows him to absorb impacts that would shatter a normal man's arm. His sustained energy from the barley and bean combination keeps him moving when his opponent begins to tire. The crowd gasps as Marcus delivers a series of powerful strikes that would be impossible without his nutritionally enhanced physique. But as the fight continues, something remarkable happens that ancient crowds never noticed. Both gladiators begin to show the subtle signs of their dietary limitations. Their movements, while still deadly precise, lack the explosive power that a meat-rich diet would provide. Their recovery between intense exchanges is slower than it should be for athletes of their caliber. They are simultaneously superhuman and malnourished, living contradictions created by a society that valued spectacle over human health. The revelation that shocks researchers most is this: the gladiator diet wasn't designed to create healthy warriors. It was designed to create cost-effective entertainment. Gladiator owners discovered that barley and beans were far cheaper than meat, while the addition of calcium-rich supplements kept their investments from breaking too easily. The blood and bone additives weren't about honor or tradition. They were about maintaining expensive human property with minimal food costs. As Marcus stands victorious over his fallen opponent, the crowd erupts in approval. He has won his 15th fight, bringing him closer to the freedom that awaits after 30 victories. But modern analysis of his bones would reveal a different story. Despite his triumph, he has perhaps 5 years of life remaining due to the very diet that made his victory possible. The Gladiator nutritional program represents one of history's most sophisticated yet cruel experiments in human performance enhancement. These warriors achieved physical capabilities that seem almost supernatural by modern standards, but at a cost that their society never acknowledged and they themselves never fully understood. Today, as we uncover the last secrets of these ancient warriors through cutting-edge forensic science, we're forced to confront an uncomfortable truth. The gladiators' shocking diet tells us as much about Roman values as it does about Roman nutrition. They created human beings who were simultaneously superhuman and disposable, champions built to thrill crowds and die young. The next time you see a movie about gladiators, remember Marcus and his bowl of grey gruel. Behind every moment of arena glory lay a calculated system of nutritional control that reveals the true brutality of ancient Rome's greatest spectacle. These weren't just fighters. They were the products of history's most ruthless dietary experiment. And their story continues to shock researchers who thought they understood the ancient world. Their legacy lives on, not in the cheers of long-dead crowds, but in the calcium-dense bones that still tell their story 2,000 years later. A story of incredible human performance achieved through incredible human sacrifice.